good evening, good morning, as the case may be. I'm sure I should get to sleep now, and I am really not able to.
One eternity later.
The documentary movie that aired over member stations of the public broadcasting service PBS that aired in what is now last night, titled in a different key. I could only get through the first few minutes of it until I decided, right, that's it. Disgusting to me. And nothing you people can say will ever change how I feel about having what I do. Damn it.
And to prove my point, I will block anyone who happens to like this documentary, specifically Jesse Coffee. That's right, I was blocked by this guy for being a fan of the documentary in a different key. So far, I am not under the impression that this was a big loss.
A documentary movie should be done on me for a change, even though I have otherwise resisted it.
Partly because I am a selfish, egotistical brat, and I'm probably compensating for something.
Just can't get to bed now. So thus, I will prefer to be killing myself slowly, with all of these late nights stayed up. There is no hope for me, no hope for this country either. No hope for the United States either.
I'll annex an anecdote to that quotation in the video. This guy is a die-hard Donald Trump and Elon Musk fanboy. And he enjoys friendly conversations with anyone and anything connected to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Most notably, Secretary of State under the Trump administration, Mike Pompeo, and everyone's favorite murderer of Black Lives Matter protesters that shouldn't have gotten off scot-free, Kyle Rittenhouse.
What sort of idiot would back the Respect for Marriage Act?
Any, actually decent and loving human being that ever lived?
It is only supposed to be between a man and a woman. You jackasses. And that it is simple and as painful as that. I am not going against such tradition. The Lord God frowns upon alternative lifestyles.
We just learned yet another thing about this David guy through this clip. He's homophobic.
Best if you avoid this documentary.
Is there any substantive criticism you have of it that you would like to offer us?
Not all autistics turn out success stories, and truth is, I should be dead now.
Oh yeah, and he apparently hates it when people on a spectrum he is supposed to be on actually make something of themselves. This guy would take the Talking Heads off his playlist after finding out in an article that David Byrne was on the spectrum. And here are some of the big Hollywood stars whose movies and TV shows he would cease to watch upon finding out that all of them are on the spectrum.
If other autistics say that I should be executed, legally executed, fine thing. Go right ahead. Head smart Alex.
By the way, no one on the spectrum ever told him this. I myself am not telling him this. I'm just telling him that he's a delusional moron.
Those two who hosted this documentary based on a book they had written. Those two people being Karen Zucker and John Donvan. Completely assholes for doing this.
For what? Giving the spectrum a sense of dignity?
I could show a much more realistic portrayal of the condition I live with better than them.
I see you're already successful at being an ass to anyone in the autism spectrum who happens to be successful.
And this anger is not going to go away. Trust me on this one. Until I have become successful or until I have died, whichever comes first. And I am not even going to begin to tell you where to find this documentary because it's a waste of celluloid film.
I will. It's on the PBS Video app, but you have until January 10th to see it for free.
I have tried reaching out to those two, Zucker and Donvan, saying we need to talk because I am a little disturbed by the documentary movie.
Oh, please, do tell me what about a documentary that is about autistic people making something of themselves is so disturbing to you.
The autistic who has the sane brain, and like yours truly, would not support the evil, idiotic left wing. That's exactly what they are, in league with evil.
So you hate them for not being big fans of Trump and Elon.
You want to blame anything for my leanings? Well, you may as well blame them on parental influence, having grown up in a conservative home and having mostly grown up during the conservative Reagan 1980s. I have no shame in growing up during those years.
No comment. Other than I'm not surprised that he gushed over the man who formed the modern Republican Party, which is entirely devoted to hawking up war and cutting taxes for the rich, and wants to declare war on people who are from minority groups. They've been a bit more open about that last part in recent years, though.
And it's the left that really ought to be shut up. Not permanently. Not the opposition. And not the opposition.
Oh! So he supports censorship
to all those that get butthurt by that. Tough darts. Tough break.
The only guy on this stream that I would describe as remotely butthurt is a viewer like you. Thank you.
If you really must find this documentary, which truly is a waste of celluloid film, I'll say.
It's not like it's difficult to find.
It is It is to be found at the web address on your screen. It beats me when it is going to make the rounds to DVD and Blu-ray.
I'm sure it will. Most PBS stuff usually does in about a month or two.
Zucker and Donovan, they look like a two I would want to pick a fight with. This is simply because I am through playing nice with humankind. I'm done with that.
Okay. When are we going to get to the actual criticisms you have of this documentary? I've waited... what was it? 9 minutes and 21 seconds for you to utter an actual criticism you might have of the documentary. And so far, I haven't heard it. You may have noticed that I skipped over any portion of the video that is irrelevant to the topic at hand, which is the wonderful PBS documentary in a different key. He seems to think differently about it, but can't seem to explain why he thinks differently about it. Either that, or he's just... Let's trigger the... Specifically, I'm cutting out a part about his doctor's appointments. I don't need to hear about those.
And just do not expect me. Do not expect me to make apologies for bad-mouthing this documentary. And because I'm not going to apologize. Sorry.
Was anyone really going to? I mean, they are kind of set in stone. They're set in a very right-wing stone.
I have tried pursuing all that is possible. Despite Kennedy Krieger.
Who the hell is Kennedy Krieger?
Or saying, advising 15 hours earlier to tune into PBS in what is now last night, in for the premiere of In a Different Key, a film about Donald Triplett from Mississippi, the first person ever diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in 1938, and how we can help individuals with autism pursue all that's possible. It's for myself, it's not possible anymore. Don't try, damn it, do not try to challenge me on this.
Well, I finally found my first uttering of an actual criticism of the documentary. And it's not a very good criticism either.
I clearly read the signs of all that is ahead of me. Ahead of me, you fools. And it doesn't look so good. After my senior parents die, who are presently in charge of the legal guardianship they hold over me, that Harris County put in charge of, who knows who is going to take it over by the time they are both dead.
What am I supposed to be looking at in this part of the video? An excerpt from your personal diary?
And I would imagine after all of that parenting work, they would prefer to stay free and clear of checking up on me. They are disappointed enough as it is. I can safely say that I did not turn out as well as they did.
Now, in the next few seconds, he talks about his neurotypical brother and sister and their marriages. I don't think I need to hear about them in this video, and I don't suppose you do either.
I do not like saying it, but if human euthanasia were legalized in my state of Texas, I would take it. Otherwise, I hate to tell you, this vicious cycle is just going to otherwise continue.
Okay, if you're so upset that you haven't achieved any level of success within the autism spectrum, can you at least be appreciative of those of us in the autism spectrum who happen to be successful?
So I could only get through almost the first 9 minutes, well, the first 8 minutes 53 seconds of In a Different Key before I decided I could not take any more. The synopsis of it may read as follows. A mother tracks down the first, that being Karen Zucker, tracks down the first person ever diagnosed with autism, Donald Triplett, now an elderly man living in rural Mississippi, to learn if his life story holds promise for her own autistic son.
While I'm too fixated on talking about this video to do the math, but having watched the rest of the documentary, anything past the first 9 minutes, I can tell you that in the documentary it is shown that Donald Triplett indeed made something of himself, and that other people on the autism spectrum, other people on the autism spectrum, actually made something themselves too.
Her journey exposes a startling record of cruelty and kindness alike, framed by forces like race, money, and privilege, but leads to hope that more communities are learning to have the backs of people on the spectrum. As for anybody having my back, I seriously doubt it.
And given what I just mentioned about you in the first few minutes, I don't think anybody will have your back.
So please do not try and challenge that before you...
Alright, I get it!
So then I may as well be playing the Wacky Races theme music again.
And I'm not going to, because I don't want to get a copyright strike from Warner Brothers over the use of the Wacky Racist theme.
I cannot take such bull corn in that a documentary like in a movie, a documentary movie like In a Different Key doles out. Well, people, you really ought to get to signing two of my change.org petitions.
And in the tradition of the great podcaster service, I will not be plugging your change.org petitions in this video, and I will instead tell my audience to check out my archive.org uploads of the documentary that this video is about, and the program that came before it, Oh Holy Night, Christmas, with the Tabernacle Choir, or as I might have conjured them up in my head, the artists formerly known as the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. As recorded last night off of KQED TV, the PBS member station of San Francisco. I guarantee you will be far more entertained by these broadcasts that I put up on archive.org than any 5 people were by this guy's entire stream. After he gets done hawking the change.org petitions, David, the first name of the guy in this video, badmouths anyone and anything connected to In a Different Key, and anyone who happened to like A Different Key, while alternatively headbanging and singing along to the Wacky Racist theme. And it's a good thing I can barely hear that, because if it had been up loud enough, this video would have gotten a copyright strike. And falling asleep on a camera. This goes on for about 22 fucking minutes. And then
I had to tell somebody else on Twitter that that another autistic I did not get along very well with. That I did not get along very well with. Hold on. Amy Gravino, a real asshole, and they should know it, and they know it.
Wow. That's a massive bit of projection if I've ever seen one.
And New Jersey. Some real disgusting pieces of humanity in the Garden State.
So let me get this straight. You hate Amy Gravino, a sex symbol I did not know the autism spectrum ever had. All because she's from New Jersey. Somebody's been watching way too much first-run episodes of Jersey Shore.
Six and a half hours later.
Let's play the... Excuse me. Play the Wacky Races theme one more time before I end this broadcast.
Once again, no, we're not going to play the Wacky Racist theme in this commentary. And for the record, Amy Gravino merely resides in New Jersey. She's the relationship advocate at Rutgers University in East Brunswick. But she's not originally from New Jersey. She's from Port Jefferson, New York. And she is also sexier, more intelligent, more thoughtful, and much less of an asshole than this indeterminate nobody guy is ever going to be. Well, having completed the 50 minutes that felt like 5 million minutes of having sat through his stream, I can safely say that he got one part of himself right. He is a nobody. And he got another thing about himself right. He is on the autism spectrum. But I could have gone further and said he also is a jerk, a Trump Elon guy, a massive homophobe, and someone who projects his acidic thoughts about everything and his acidic attitude onto other people. I am not going to miss the few hours he spent following me on Twitter, because I don't want anything to do with this prick ever again. I'll see you in the next video.